Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 49.
49.
Of the Whiskey and Whitetails podcast. We are your hosts, Matt.
I'm Gus.
Today is November 28th. We are joining you, still slightly hungover from a weekend of celebrating with family, friends, and alcohol, and copious amounts of food, and hunting. Please say something.
Happy Thanksgiving. We hope that that's what we're joining you from. We're actually pre-recording. Well, obviously, we're not recording at 6 a.m. when this comes out on Monday mornings. Also, that should be noted. We do an episode every Monday. Yeah. We've missed one, but we didn't really miss it. You just didn't pay to hear it. Yeah, it was just rough.
You didn't want to be on the Patreon, so you don't get to listen.
Patreon. Sorry for our mess here. I'm going to clean it up. This is just so you can see it. This is our original smoker block. First one we ever made. To be
fair, it's the first one that passed, like, we could
QC,
sell this.
Yeah. This is the first one available.
Probably, I don't know, 20 that were like,
Well, you remember how long it took me to get that right?
I do.
Yeah. But this one, just so you wonder, because we get asked all the time how long they last. This has been over a year, and it's mine personally. So you know it gets used a lot. An F ton. A metric F ton.
Because you drink a lot.
Well,
you entertain a lot.
My doctor listens to this.
Your dining room,
I entertain a lot,
is set up to entertain people. He doesn't have a formal dining room.
If you come to my house, that's right.
His dining room is set up as an open bar seating area. That's what he does. He has friends over and they hang out and he entertains. He makes a lot of cocktails for folks.
Mostly the neighbors, but yes.
A lot of folks.
If you come to my house, you never had a smoked cocktail, you're getting one. And this is the block I use. But yeah, this is a tier, and I even hate that it left the house, but we used it for a video today. Oh, look, that's how bad it was, remember? That I redid it.
That's right.
Yeah. We had problems with the branding. But yeah, if you've never seen how we use it, we're not going to show you.
You can watch the video on our YouTube channel, which, by the way, you should subscribe and hit the notification bell to get all the latest updates.
Yes. And we're right now, Black Friday is live. And if we haven't sold out yet, we have the gingerbread old-fashioned cocktail mixer. We got a limited amount. These are only made once a year. Not the easiest to get. However, you can get them. But we are pushing those out right now.
Yeah. Get you some.
And that's the end of these cocktails that we made earlier.
I really wish sometimes, like in moments like this, that we had a place where I could just toss this and hear it break.
Well, we discussed that on an early episode. I got asked today, if somebody were to start listening to our podcast,
where should they start?
Yeah. And I said around 20, but I feel like that's even too late.
I don't know. I mean, the problem is people have to understand that we started this podcast, and just like any other podcast, we were kind of figuring it the fuck out as we were going.
Yeah.
And so, we hit our stride somewhere halfway through.
I'm doing this for Deacon and Dina's. Anyway.
What are we going to drink today?
All right. Today we are doing episode 2 of the worst shit I have at my house.
That's a better way to put it.
I basically took everything. If you missed the last episode, I took everything that I don't like and poured it into these things and labeled it. And as you know from previous episodes, anytime I do blinds, I try and get nice and toasty, so I don't remember what they are. Last week, I kind of remembered a few of them, but now it's all gone. I don't remember anything that's in here. But I know that all of these are things I personally didn't like, and most of them you've had and you also did not like. So just pick a bottle. Don't worry about numbers. Just pick a bottle. I'm going to pick the one closest to me because I'm lazy. Number 2. And you picked?
3.
Wow. Right next to each other. Let me get us a couple more glasses here. Also this week, Gus has finally moved the mic stands onto this shelf, so you can't hear all the sound. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 2 is on my side, on the right, on my right. All right. Yeah, evenly distribute the nastiness. We also got a new cover here. Put it right here.
That's right. Sorry.
We got a new cover here. Compliments of, I think your wife went shopping for us.
Yeah. Well, I was just explaining kind of the conundrum I was in and why I was moving mic stands. And I was explaining to her that we needed something to dampen the sound on this because our whiskey and whitetail hide was just not the best thing. It was distracting, and
I couldn't stop petting it.
So I don't know. I described something and she found this, and I thought we'd give it a test run, see how we liked it.
Give the old college try.
Yeah,
I like it. I was worried what it would look like, but
yeah, I don't know how.
I do like this black and white, and we also went red this week.
Yeah, changing it up, trying new things. So we're gonna do the same one, right?
We also moved this back into focus. Yeah, we're doing the same one. So this is number 2. 2. Oh, I gotta get my little handy dandy.
I need my pen.
All right. And I think I sufficiently explained what we're doing here. These are the worst whiskeys of 2021 that I had at my house, and I didn't want in my house anymore. And I thought, what better way to get rid of them? So if this is your favorite whiskey, we do not apologize. And if you own this whiskey, we don't apologize for that either.
Why would we apologize for not liking a whiskey?
No, I mean, a lot of pages won't say they don't like something because they think, hold on, let's do this first before I get on this tangent.
Soapbox has been placed, folks.
That's my only tangent this episode.
He's stretching before he steps on.
I'm going to be better.
They like the soapboxes. This looks dark, and it looks like it should have a complex or a very noticeable, if that's the right word, nose, but it is very underwhelming.
Yeah, there's not a lot here. I mean, I can smell the ethanol.
Either I've been breathing in too much sawdust making products, or there's just not a whole lot going on here.
I can smell ethanol.
Yeah.
And like the hint of what you would call whiskey, but as far as that, the nose, I'm going to give it a 1. It's terrible. Fuck. Immediate mouthfeel. It's hot. Hot enough to make me say the F word.
That's coming from a guy that likes high proof stuff.
Yeah, this doesn't taste high proof. It just tastes like nasty.
It's got a weird long finish.
Yeah,
it just lingers there.
What is that?
I don't know. Dirty socks.
Is it sock? Do a Kentucky Chew and see if you can not make a face.
Like I watched.
You know what it smells like? It smells like when you cook something, or not smells, taste. The taste reminds me of the smell of Kentucky Chew. Open your mouth and breathe in. Yeah, Daddy. The taste reminds me of the smell I get when I use cast iron skillet and I cook something in it, and then I want to get all the bits up, and I use crappy whiskey and I dump it in there, because if you don't know how that, you can clean the hell out of a cast iron skillet with that. That smell that comes off of it is like, ugh. That is what that tastes like.
Look, man, there's not a lot of we really did it with this group.
I do not like whatever this is. Is the worst thing I've tasted.
There's not a lot of whiskeys that I drink and go, no thanks. Like usually I'm going to finish this. I'll finish both of these drinks, but not willingly.
Dude. Okay. What was I going to soapbox?
Oh, other pages and other channels not being willing to shit on whiskeys they don't like.
Yeah. So you remember back in the day when we had another company and we were trying to do paid hunts?
Yeah.
And we see people with sponsorships with places like Matthews Bows or whatever. And so we started getting our way into that world. So if you ever look at paid hunters, people that are sponsored and are on TV and all that stuff, when you look at them and you think these guys must be rolling in the dough. They're sponsored by Matthews, sponsored by Hoyt, whatever. So we finally got our nose wet in the industry and came to find out that when you get that sponsorship, all you get is maybe a free bow. They don't pay anyone. Like nobody gets money from Matthews. Nobody gets money from Hoyt. They just don't. They get free equipment, and then they have to shout them out all the time. So the way I'm looking at the whiskey thing is when I look at these pages that are like oh, that's good, blah, blah, you should use it for this. And if they absolutely hate it, it's the worst shit ever. Like, this would make a good old fashioned. It's like, but we just made an old fashioned out of Blanton's. That made a good old fashioned.
Yeah, it did.
But I look at it the same way. Even if I'm wrong, I'm still going to look at it the same way. It doesn't matter if you suck up to these brands and say they're the best ever. They're never going to pay you for drinking their stuff. They may send you free bottles once in a while, but to us, neither of us care about that. So
here's the thing, though. What you or I think, because we don't always agree.
For sure.
And he and I think doesn't necessarily agree with what you may like, right?
Yeah.
The whole taste is subjective.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is true, right? It's an easy cop-out whenever you don't like something or you're not getting the same notes that everyone else in the room is getting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that particular whiskey you don't like from that distiller or that company probably has something else you like just fine. It's not like you're shitting on the company as a whole. You just don't happen to like that spirit, and that's okay. Like, why is that a bad thing?
That's why we're not concerned about it. We're going to give you our honest opinions on this stuff. And somebody out there probably likes this. And like, I'm talking on my ass right now. We could reveal this, and I'm like, oops. Because we do know some distillers and rep and like some of their products and like them as people. So I hate to sit here and say,
But
taste
anyone
is
who drinks whiskey long enough knows that you can open a bottle and love it and then hate it halfway through the bottle, or vice versa.
Well,
it's
I will
just the way whiskey goes.
All the ones I picked are bottles that I opened and hated and then tried to like over coming months.
Still no dice.
And I just don't like it. All right. Number 3. This smells.
These are my notes.
This smells like it went bad.
Really?
Not whiskey. It smells like something went bad. Like dirty dishwater almost.
Oh man, it has no, you know what it reminds me of? When someone leaves a wet sponge too long.
That's what it is. Wet sponge on the nose. That's exactly what it is. Wet sponge. It's not necessarily dirty dishwash.
Or maybe when you leave clothes in the washer too long and then get mildewy.
I get musty on that on some dusty bottles that I like.
Really?
I don't get that on this, but I do get wet sponge.
God, don't you hate it when that happens too? Man? So, fun trick at work, back when I used to be in an actual office all the time, I get so irritated with people in the office leaving the sponge wet at the communal area to do dishes. I would bring my own sponge and bring it back and forth to my desk.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Anyways.
I used to do that with toilet paper until I joined the Army, and then I was like, as long as it's not my hand.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm afraid to taste this.
Oh, it's just fucking puked. I don't think I can drink that. What is that?
I don't know, but taste-wise, it's better than that other one.
Are you serious? That almost made me gag.
No, that wasn't that bad for me. That is not good.
Well, let's trade. I'll take yours of that. You take this.
All right. Done.
Well, no, because we got to guess. Which one do you like? We have to.
Doesn't matter. I like.
We could say they're both bad and just put them both in the worst whiskey ever category.
Yeah, if we don't, that's what we'll do. If we don't unanimously agree, then they both go.
Because this almost made me puke, and I couldn't. I mean, Jaeger makes me almost puke, and that's the.
Well, let's see what they are. I'm curious what they are, and then we'll put them both on the shelf. If it's not unanimous, they don't both carry over to the next year.
So they both go to they suck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. This will be fun. Show me before you say it.
Nope. Number 2 is Oak and Eden Spire. The one where they put I think, I'll have to look for them because I hit them so I didn't look at them. Number 2, now let me just grab it. So ignore this. Oh, shit. I can't show the bottle. All right. This was a.
Yeah, that's funny.
Actually, I don't care. This is a local pick. Here's the problem with the Spire Select whiskeys from Oak and Eden. When they put the wood in there,
it continues to age.
Yeah. So if this has sat on my shelf all year open, it probably was meant, and that's you know what that is they should have known better. They should have known that if they put that chunk of wood inside this bottle, that over time it would become over oaked or over whatever kind of wood it is. This is American oak, so it became over oaked too much tannins in it. That's why we don't like it.
Yeah, because I recall liking this when we opened it and tried it the first time.
So this is a bottle you have to buy and drink immediately, and that's something that the marketing team, somebody should have known that. They thought it was a cool idea, or it's a marketing ploy, and they were like, nobody's gonna know that. All right, and so number 3.
Are we batting 1,000 here?
Number 3 was Basil Hayden toast.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't like it at all.
Whatever. Basil Hayden is not. The old stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't mind the old stuff. The 10-year that we have used in blinds, the Basil Hayden 10-year is really good. The regular Basil Hayden, I look at it as like the entry man's fancy whiskey.
Sure.
Because when we were entry man, the fancy whiskey was Basil Hayden because it's a cool ass bottle. It's got this little metal ring on it, and it's got the label that doesn't fit, and people like it.
And also, when we were learning about it and introducing, it still had an age statement,
right?
You know.
Well, think about how many boardrooms we've been to in our corporate world where they had Basil Hayden in there. Almost all of them.
A lot of them. Yep.
Almost everyone I've been into. I mean, I've worked at places where that was a bar staple, and that's what everybody drank at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the worst whiskeys of this episode. So I think this is almost not fair because of the Spire.
Yeah,
so
it's not really it's not a fair judgment.
Let's paper, rock, scissors if we put it in there. If I win, we put it in. If you win, we leave it out. Only because it's not fair, and neither is paper, rock, scissors.
Okay.
So it's 1, 2, 3, shoot. You go on shoot. One, huh?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah, you go on shoot.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, shoot. All right. So you saved it because I wanted it to go in.
That's right.
So you saved it. All right. Which is good because I didn't really want to drink that again, even though I'm drinking it again. Damn, now I got like a double pour over here.
Enjoy.
All right. We're also doing something new this episode. We're trying to figure out segments. Right, and so this segment, which segment we're going to go with first?
Let's just get the plug out of the way.
So we're going to do the plug of the week, and then we'll probably come up with a nifty song that we play, a jingle,
sound.
You play it, and then that's how you know it's the plug of the week. Wow, yeah.
We'll tell you something exciting.
Yeah. So you picked it. I didn't do it. So who's this week's plug of the week? Oh, wait. Plug of the week means it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a product. Instagram page, Facebook page, local store, a store that we ran across on travels.
Something a new beer you came across, it could be anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Just something you want to talk about or plug that you found.
We want to talk about. This is our segment.
Found
our segment
that we want to share with you. So that's it. This week, it's the Go Wild app. I know a lot of people have talked about it or have joined it, but if you have not, I really recommend you go sign up, get yourself involved on the platform. Man, it is really cool. So I signed us up a month ago. I forget when we had the conversation. And they have a really cool thing. The more you interact on the platform, the more points you get. And as you gain points, they give you prizes.
Oh, really?
They give you, I have a free shirt coming. Probably maybe hang it up in here or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll just wear it since you kept the good Black Rifle coffee hat.
I only got one.
Okay,
I offered you 6 shirts for this hat.
6 medium shirts. It would take 3 of them to fit.
Yeah, thanks Black Rifle for the hat and 6 medium shirts.
But they give you discount codes, so it's a unique platform in that they have big outdoor brands that have collaborated with the application, and you can shop inside the app. So if you're interested in a new Vortex optic or rangefinder or set of glass, you can shop through the app, and as you're building up points, they reward you with stuff. So I have 25% off a Vortex order right now if I wanted to, or if we wanted to.
Oh, that's good to know.
There's things like that they reward you for posting your trophies, for commenting on things and making posts. So right now we're on there as Whiskey and Whitetails. I post our podcast. I post stuff that we post throughout the week.
Is this the app they were talking about?
I think so, yes. It's the Go Wild app. I've talked with and had some back and forth with the founder, one of the co-founders, about some of our products. That's a long back and forth kind of thing. It would be cool to be able to get some of those on their platform. But the reason that the guy started it and why I I thought it was cool to talk about is something that I think all of us have encountered at some point or another on these other social media platforms, and that is ignorant and uneducated hate from other groups. And so it was to the point in his personal experience where he was getting death threats about stuff he was posting for hunting. 2 of the dozens were so serious that he had to get the FBI involved, and then involved his, I think, family.
Wow.
And so he reached a point where he had enough of not being able to share and interact with like-minded people in the hunting community. So he got with some folks and founded Go Wild so that we would have a place to go to as censorship and other things continue to get worse. And I'm not going to get on a political rant here. Just know that the Go Wild app is a place you can go to share all those things, your grip and grins if that's what you want to do, whether it's photography related to wildlife, hunting, whatever your thing is, it's accepted there, and you're not going to get shit from anyone else. And when you do, when those people that do make their way in, they are quickly found and removed.
So my question was because those guys had told us to join some app, and I went and joined one, and we already had one. Yeah. Is that the conversation you and I had?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shout these guys out real quick then. It's a group chat that we're in. There's a lot of people in it, but Dom, Bowhunter Planet, Dustin Datillo, Florida Boy Outfitters, Bird Dog, Buzz B, Lower Florida Box Hunt, Moxie, Monster Whitetail, Soda Fam, Southern Leafer, Western Tex, Wicked North, Working Man Bowhunter. Those guys are all, they told me to get in there, and I didn't realize that you had already done it.
Yeah.
But Dom is apparently really trying to do a lot of stuff in there and really kind of help guide like the direction of that.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's all I hear is positive things about how you can get in there and not be bashed on. But also they talk about the algorithms for Instagram, anything whitetail, hunting, blah, blah, blah related. It's all
suppressed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were saying that app is going wild right now.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Like, and it's fun getting on there and actually being able to see what you're there to look for and what you're interested in. Yeah. So it's all over the place, whether it's fishing, hunting of all kinds. There's a when you make a post in there, you can actually select what it is you want to post about. And when I select podcasts, for example, it will query the various podcast repositories, and it finds our podcast for us, and I can link the exact episode to share with people. It's really cool.
That is cool. Awesome. Well, there you go. That is episode 49's plug of the week.
Go Wild app.
Go Wild app. And you can get that, I'm guessing, everywhere?
Yeah, you just search it up, and as the kids say, search it up in the App Store.
And then when you get there,
Siri or whoever the hell, I don't know.
Follow us.
Yeah, give us a shout.
Is it
send us a message?
At Whiskey?
I think so, yeah. I don't know. I think they all are. I think that's like a universal thing that someone decided, like, we're gonna put the ampersand in front of names.
Okay. Well, then ampersand Whiskey and Whitetails. When you get there, add us a friend request, and we'll follow you back.
Cool. What's the next segment, sir?
The next segment is I can't drink this shit. So not so much a segment, but the next thing that I had in mind was a 2-part question, one for hunting, one for whitetails. And that's something I want people to think about in their head while we discuss it also. But what is the range and maybe preferred price of, like, if you're going to, scenario, we leave, we're going on a hunting trip. We don't bring bottles with us because we know enough that we can find good stuff wherever we go.
Yep.
So you walk into and you're probably gonna have to leave this bottle there. There's no way we're gonna finish it during the hunting trip.
Right.
So when you show up and you go to the liquor store and like, I need to get a bottle for tonight for the weekend, what price range do you look at?
Well, knowing what we know, what I know, what's readily available, what's a solid kind of go-to whiskeys that you can find, it's probably going to be something between $16 and $30 in that $15
in that
swing
scenario.
in that scenario. Yeah.
So same question, but now it's at your house. Like, you need a bottle for the shelf that it's like when you come home from work and you can drive, like on the way home from work, sometimes you think ice cold beer would be nice, but like, I want this, something you can get excited about on the way home to drink.
You polish off a bottle. Now you want to replace it. What's
Not even that.
Something
Just
to
like,
look forward to coming home to.
Something to look forward to coming home to. What price range are you in there? Because then this is your bottle. Nobody else is going to drink it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have several of those at the house. I've spent 80. I've spent 120 on some of them.
I think 60 to 80 is kind of where I'm at. Because like the $30, I'm a daily drink. No, I don't daily drink, but I'm a daily drinker, as they say, at the $30 range.
Yeah.
But I think I'm looking forward to having this. However, that I cannot stop talking about that Booker's.
Mm-hmm. There's something weird that happens. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I think it's just marketing and just business. But in that 30 to 60 range that we sort of glossed over, it seems to be where there's a lot of stuff that is craft. It's not a lot of it's made, so it's marked up, but it's not necessarily very good whiskey, at least not to me. So you find a lot of things in that $30 to $60 range that are just like, you kind of have to, as you're working through, you kind of have to push through that little ceiling area. I'm not saying all whiskeys in that range are bad, but there's a lot that just aren't that great that seem to fall like in that range. 40
and below, there's a lot I like. 40 to 60, because we did that blunt. There's not a lot in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think above 60, there's some good stuff in there. And then I think 100 to 150, that's a wider range, but I think in there's a lot of stuff that's not that good either.
Oh, 100%.
I think there's a lot of things that cost more than $100 that are not good and should be below 100.
Yeah, there are many that I would, before I paid $140 or $150 for, I would go back and buy 3 or 4 bottles of other ones.
For sure. Good deal. I think we're on the same page as that. So we'd like to know your idea. Throw that in the comments on what you think is a good range for. Just go with the at home. I'm excited to drink it.
Yep.
So now the second part of this question, because it's wildly different. So we've discussed that price range. So now hunting gear, same thing. If you're flying somewhere and somebody's like, "Hey, you want to go for a hunt?" You're like, "Shit, I didn't bring any hunting gear." What are you going to go buy? You're going to go buy what price range?
Well, what are we hunting?
Just whitetail deer.
Whitetail deer. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider and ask.
I mean, I'm throwing you in I got a hang on tree stand. You can use my bow.
Okay.
And you've practiced with the bow. What are you going to wear in the hang on tree stand?
I'm probably just going to go to Walmart and buy some cheap mossy oak or
cheapest thing you can get, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. You want to know why? Because deer don't see the way we think they do.
But if you're at home and you got to go to the hunt club and people see you.
Well, here's the thing. It's less about other people seeing, and it's a lot more about quality and comfort. Because I can tell you right now, the pair of mossy oak, 100% cotton pants, jean type
won't
pants
make it a year.
that you buy. Oh, they will. They'll probably make it 15 years.
You think so?
But they stay stiff as cardboard.
Yeah, it's true.
For the whole 15 years.
Make a ton of noise.
And they're not comfortable. Whereas I know that your Sitka gear is comfortable. I know that the First Light gear that we invested in for our Western hunts is comfortable. It's durable. We spent a lot of money, and several years later, that stuff is still solid. So I don't know, man. It's hard.
It's hard because it's like, this is something that I want to look forward to putting on. I want to look forward to wearing, and I know it's going to last me a long time. And I don't got to worry about the crotch blowing out of it, bending down to do whatever.
I want that deer when I give it a meh and it stops and looks up at me, I want it to go, "Damn, motherfucker, you look good."
What is that? So what is your price range for that?
My wife listens to this.
That was mine.
So
do you want me to answer?
I don't have a price range. Whatever it needs to be.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't have a price range.
I don't have a price range. Look, when we prepared to go out on that elk hunt, I didn't have any of the proper gear.
We spent $5,000 on hunting gear
a piece
to go hunting, to go elk hunting.
Yeah.
But we wanted stuff that we knew was going to last.
Solid half of that was on clothing and boots.
And because we were trekking in, we were carrying it in, so it wasn't like we can go stay at the hotel. No, we were going to freeze to death if we didn't prepare correctly.
We were 24 hours from someone getting us if we needed help. Yeah. And so we were prepared for rain, for very, very cold, snap blizzard type, because we were in the mountains in Colorado, and it wasn't forecasted. But that stuff happens all the time. Well,
we didn't know what the forecast was when we planned the trip.
Well, that's also very true. So when you're months and months out, you look at what the averages are for that time of year, and you kind of have to ballpark. Now, we packed extra, and we left stuff in the truck that as we got there, the night before in the hotel room, we unpacked everything again and dialed everything in. Yeah. But still,
We both wore First Light for that.
Yeah, we did. And you know what though? Yeah, looking back on it, it sucked spending that much money, but you could not put a price on going into the woods in that hunt, not having a single doubt or worry about the gear we had.
And that's not a First Light plug. It's just the quality of apparel we bought.
And it was just what we happened to go with.
We got a sponsor
on that trip. Another story for another time. But of all the things we had to worry about and think about, what we were wearing was not one of them.
And staying warm.
None of that was a problem. And that helped us focus on not having a heart attack climbing up and down mountains.
Yeah. How many sets of gear do you own? Like I have all the First Light stuff. I have a ton of the Sitka stuff. I fell in love with the new Under Armour pattern.
Yeah, it's a good pattern. I like it too. It's hard, man. It's
like where were we at?
Shiny.
Where were we at? We're at Bass Pro in Tennessee.
It's Bass Pro? No, when we went duck hunting?
No, this was this year. I don't know, maybe I was with somebody else. No, that's right. It was when I drove. You were in Louisiana.
On the way up
drove up.
Yeah.
Dude, went to Bass Pro, and I'm standing there looking at them, going, "Don't need it," but I do need really thin gloves. And they had these thin gloves, and I was like, what if it gets cold? I might need a nice beanie. And I was like, match the gloves. Why not? I was like, yeah, how stupid I'm going to look not having a shirt
that matches
the gloves and the hat.
Yeah, you're going to look so dumb.
Pants, jacket. It's like,
yeah. So the only like name brand line set that I have, like top to bottom, I have like one of everything, is the First Light stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a vest, a jacket, a puffy jacket. I have pants.
That puffy jacket is money. I wish I had bought that.
Yeah, I have pants.
Did you get the brush pants? I can't remember.
No. I
got the brush pants.
Yeah, I got the what are they called? There's a name for them. They're like they're their most popular set of pants.
Yeah.
But I got those pants because they're thick enough to be warm down to like maybe 60 to 55 degrees without anything else on, and then you can just throw some waffle like thermal pants under there, and you're good down to like 40 degrees.
Yeah, the waffles with money.
Yeah, so I got those, gloves, hat. I'm trying to think. Oh, and a couple of different layers. Like I have some t-shirts, a thinner merino wool pullover, and a thicker merino. So between all that, I can layer and hunt from August to December without changing anything up. And then I have other sets of other patterns for different things. Like I have different patterns for duck hunting. I have different patterns for turkey season. And those are not First Light. It's different gear, mostly mismatched stuff. It wasn't until that elk hunt that I invested in like a really expensive, good set of gear.
I think we both were kind of on that field. And I still wear, sometimes like I'm an all black, like I will wear camo, like whatever camo pants and a black hoodie.
Yeah.
Still. I mean,
that's my favorite. Like whenever I hunt in the box blind or in a ground blind,
yeah,
I'll treat my clothes for scent. I'll just wear jeans and a hoodie. Like
that's why I brought that River Brothers, the black one, because for blind hunting, even though I don't hunt in blinds. But
I'm getting ready to buy one because my daughter is driving me crazy every day. We go hunting today.
She wants to go,
and when I say no, she starts crying. So I'm like, I guess I got to buy a ground blind, because the ground blind I had, I left out in the woods, and it was like a cheap $100 thing and fell apart. So
I had yesterday, I used to work with this. I actually hired this guy like 4 years ago, maybe. Yeah. And I hired him as an IT, like to run kind of the back end of the contractor company I was working for, to run, because I was doing all the computer migration and the domain control, all that stuff. And
I remember this.
Yeah. So I hired this guy to do that. And he had a degree from Clemson and was like, he was smart, he's local, blah, blah. I liked him. So I hired him, and then I changed companies. And so he ended up getting moved up while I was gone. I was like, I told him like the path to take to get to like kind of what we do. And so he did that. And so now he works, where I work. And I was talking the other day, and I came in there, and Marshall, Andy's brother, he works in there as well. And he was like, did you tell him Matt yet? I was like, tell me what?
Yeah.
And he was like, sit down. And I was like, so I was really excited. So I sat down. I was like, what's up? And he was like, I killed my first deer last weekend.
What? That's cool. I
was like, that's awesome, man. I was like, what'd you get? And he's like, it was just a doe. And I was like, don't just a doe me.
Just anything.
I was like, tell me how it went. And he was like, so it's his dad's property. And his dad was like, yeah, there's deer down there. And so he just walked down there and sat down. and a bunch of doe came out, and he shot one and missed, and then shot another one and missed. I'm like, how are you missing? You didn't practice? Because he goes to a range and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, their heads are just so small. I was like, don't shoot him in the damn head. And so I showed him like where the lungs and the heart, like aim for behind the shoulder. And he was like, I didn't know any of that. And I was like, dude, sit down. So I sat down and I showed him on X Maps. I was like, for $14 a year, you can get one state for South Carolina, and it'll show you the public lands where you can go public land hunting, which is free.
Yeah.
We are all public landowners. It shows you easements through private property, how to get to the public land. That blind that you can see 360 is $289.
Yep.
I was like, that blind, get that. And you already have a weapon. And I told him about nose jammer. I was like, get you some nose jammer. And all you do is spray yourself down with nose jammer, go out there, find a deer trail, walk the deer trail till you can't go any further. It's so thick. Walk 20 feet back, set that blind up, sit in there and wait, because a deer will come out and you shoot him when it comes out. And he was like, that's it? Like, no. But it's a good start.
A lot more to it, but that'll get you started.
That'll get you. You'll figure it out. Because I was like, they're going to circle around. They're going to smell you. Right. Some days they won't smell you. I was like, you got to play with it.
Better yet, if you're anything like he probably is, if you hired him, he's taking everything you just said. He's going to go Google it all, and he's going to go down his own rabbit holes, and he will figure out his own ways of doing it.
But I gave him the tools on how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome to see, because he's super pumped about. He's kind of late now, but he's not going to buy a blind and do all that stuff this year. But he already told me, he was like, hey, I think February, a lot of stuff will go on sale. And he's like, I'll shoot you an email when it does. Because I told him I would buy a blind.
Yeah. So those are the blinds I'm looking for. Like this holiday season, checking out sales and stuff. I'm looking for one of those blinds. I used to not care. Like, I don't need that. But now that I have little kids that want to come in the blind, for them to be able to look around and see around us, it's going to be
How many times have you been in a blind and heard something, been like,
can't see what it is.
I wish I could look behind me.
Or you've been sitting for hours and you're like, all right, I'm just going to move just this one time. And then you do
come
it.
Out and it blows.
It's like, God.
If you've never seen those blinds, you got to do it.
They're super cool, yeah.
All right. We had another segment idea that we wanted to do, and it was Fact of the Week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we were going to do, like, I don't know, actually figure out a fact. I don't know. But we may do that eventually.
We'll find interesting facts about whiskey or whitetails or just anything in general.
Or just something we want to tell you. Yeah. Like bathroom thoughts, shower thoughts. But for this episode, just because we're trying it out, want to see how we like it, we're going to just go to mentalfloss.com. They have an amazing fact generator, and we're going to click more facts. This is the fact of the week. In 1953, it took 27 hours to create one Peeps marshmallow chick.
27 hours?
27 hours. Today, the same process takes just 6 minutes.
Gross.
I don't like Peeps. Let's do another one. No. Who fact checks these? People didn't always say hello when they answered the phone. When the first regular phone service was established in 1878, Alexander Graham Bell suggested answering the phone with ahoy.
Ahoy?
Ahoy, which is now how I will answer the phone
that way
for the rest of forever. All right.
Ahoy, this is Gus speaking.
Ahoy. I can't wait to do that. I wish somebody would call me right now. Oh, dude, if we get telemarketer calls on the podcast, we're going to answer them ahoy and see what happens.
All right.
Next piece. Now, before we do the next segment, we have when's the last time we did it? New products.
You're holding two of them.
Two of them, yeah. We had 2 new products. So these were, we have turkey calls, buck grunt tubes, and then we were going to stay away from the duck call thing, but Jacob really wanted to do it, so we said, why not? So these are made out of buffalo trace lids, and so we have 2. They're up on the site now. I don't have a price for you right now because I got to look and see what they are, but we also have to price everything above. Like, we still have to make money after the 20% off for a code podcast. So whatever the profit we decide plus 20% will be what they'll be priced at. So you can use code podcast, get 20% off. Otherwise, what's the point if we don't make money on it? So these are the 2 calls. So I'm not a master duck caller, but I do know that mallards do like a, hold on. Let's just YouTube what a mallard sounds like so I can get the cadence.
Where there's love, there's family. Ritz.
Okay. So this is, I guess, what a mallard sounds like. Okay, I can definitely make that sound. I don't know. Something like that. That's what a mallard sounds like. A mallard in a parade. And then you probably know better than I do.
Oh, no, you did great.
Yeah, you do own duck calls.
No, it's okay.
You do it.
No.
Show me up.
I'm not very good at it either.
Yeah, that's way better than
I'm
what I
not
did.
good at it. It's I've only ever really used wood duck calls. Mallard calls, it's supposed to come from
The diaphragm?
your belly and your diaphragm,
yeah.
and you're like vibrating almost from your chest. It's weird.
Not to do
a friend
like
Andrew Spear is really good at calling
That's right.
ducks, and he's tried to explain it to me, and I've just not had enough time with the call in my hand.
So you know who else is really good at it? Caleb Hemrick.
Oh yeah, really?
Patreon-
Oh, I bet.
Patreon
Yeah.
member.
Yep.
A redhead. That's her work.
Another thing, we're not fancy or anything, but typically we just pay somebody to call our ducks.
Yeah, we should go on. We just.
I can do it better in my mouth. And so this is our
Great call.
wood duck, and I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I've heard wood ducks many times, and I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
the sound they make. So those are available. We're probably going to do one for one price, one for the other, and then we'll have a package deal. I'm going to guess. I guess that's how we do it.
Yep. And then we'll also be adding on as a package deal duck calling lessons from us.
From us, yep. And we'll get right on that. So next thing I want to talk about was I went and picked up bitter milk because we sold out over the weekend.
Again.
And so I went and got more, and I went to them, and our bitter milk rep guy, huge hunter. So as I'm he's from West Virginia.
Yep.
And so I was talking to him, and I was like, he's like, what you lay down so far this year? I was like, nothing, man. I haven't had time to really be in the woods. And he was like, me too. He's like, have you seen all of these potential world records that have been coming out?
Yeah, all
And I
over
was
the
like,
country.
do tell. And he was like, in West Virginia, the world record was set in 1985 or 6.
Yeah.
There's 3 this year that they think may beat it.
Yep.
Like, I guess they got to go like through full.
They got to go through all kinds
Yeah.
of, they got to go through weeks of
Yeah.
measure it now, and they wait and measure it again.
And
do all
shrinks
kinds
and
of
all
crazy-
that. But he was showing me pictures of it.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't even know deer could do that.
Yeah.
Massively huge. What have you seen?
Did you hear about there was another one in Wisconsin that was like almost a 400-pound deer.
Whitetail?
Almost, I think it was I want to say it was a 10 or 12 point. Turns out it was a fucking elk that some idiot shot on opening day.
Shot an elk
Yes.
thinking it was a whitetail deer?
Yeah.
They don't even look the same.
Not even
It's
a little.
brown, it's got antlers.
Not even a little bit. I can't even look at the article without
How much
laughing.
trouble do you get? Like, if they're like, because they always say that ignorance does not mean innocence.
Yeah, it's the 4th straight year in which at least one elk has been killed illegally by a gun deer hunter.
The Orange Army, man, they're coming out.
On one occasion in 2019, a 41-year-old Mukwanago woman, I'm sorry if you're from Wisconsin and I can't pronounce these cities, killed 2 bulls within minutes of each other on private property.
Could you imagine being out whitetail hunting? You're like, holy shit, a herd. And you just lay down and start laying waste to this herd of whitetail.
It just blows my mind that someone's out there hunting that is not able to discern the difference between an elk and a deer.
I will give people a pass on a mule deer and a whitetail deer.
All day.
I will give you a pass.
Sure.
Now, I think you're an idiot, but I will give you a pass. But if you shoot an elk thinking it's a deer, especially a whitetail deer,
Yeah. I did read another story, and I forget which state it came out of, and I don't have it pulled up, but there was another state in which a guy shot a elk on opening day, and in that state, with some weird rule, it's legal.
for opening day elk.
No, it was he killed an elk, and it was able to do so with his deer tag somehow. I remember seeing the article and not understanding.
It's an antlered bovine species.
I guess.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine? They don't.
Can you? So here's like.
I just think like,
I imagine a scenario where I take a buddy hunting for the first time, and he calls me freaking out, like he's just super pumped, and I'm pumped for him that he shot at a buck, and he's talking about how big it is, and so I, get out of my stand and I hike up for him, with him, and go to meet him, and he takes me 150 yards down to where it's at. And I'm excited for him, and I'm asking about it. And he's describing some things that don't add up quite right, but he's a new hunter.
Like 35 points on this thing.
I'm like,
it was 12 points on each side.
That seems odd. And then we crest the ridge, and we go right over into the little creek bed where it fell, and there lies a 300-pound elk. And it's not at all the deer. And now I have to call DNR. And
you ever seen 14-inch tines? This elk was nuts.
The main beams are 6 inches around or whatever.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny.
I cannot. I mean, but I guess I'm not super surprised, really, that it happens.
No, nothing surprises me anymore, to be honest with you.
It's just unbelievable.
But it has been, to your original point, though, the number of posts I see, whether it's on social media and other places, of potential, state record, world record, whatever the case is. There's been a lot of them this year.
Do you know what else I wonder, too, is if we're just at that point in time now where it's common to share your kill.
Could be.
And if maybe people didn't know that they had a potential world record.
And there's been several conversations I've listened to in other podcasts that folks have had that argument of,
oh, really?
What about all the ones that we don't know about? Back before that stuff was reported, back when great-great-grandpa killed deer because he had to, because they had to eat.
That would make sense why there was a gap between, like, someone found out, and I bet you that's because I know that the West Virginia guy, I think he holds like 3 state world records.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he probably just traveled from state to state and killed the biggest, and it was just recorded it. And then from 85 to now, nobody realized that there's
also been an uptick in, I think I looked it up the other day. Last year, there was a 5%, about an average 5% increase in hunting license sales. People are contributing it to COVID and people not having much else to do, more or less.
Because all I ever hear is that hunting is in the decline.
Well, and it has been in almost a yearly decline on average since the 80s. And so this last year was the first time there's been, I think, a fairly large uptick. So if you are a conservationist, if you like animals, or you're a vegan and you love your animals, thank a hunter, because there's an 11% excise tax that goes on all ammunition, firearms, and hunting and I don't think camping equipment, but hunting and fishing equipment that helps subsidize and pay for conservation programs across the country. So you're welcome.
Hunters definitely do more for. That being said, not the hunter that killed this elk. Not that hunter.
That guy's an asshole.
But regular hunters, Yeah, asshole would be a correct term. Like, I didn't know any better. Now, you're an asshole. Yeah. You should have been out there by yourself.
Ignorance is not an excuse.
And that should be a lesson to you, too. If you're taking somebody hunting, make sure they know what they're doing, because
simple picture comparison go a long way. Yeah. I mean, that's basic kindergarten stuff.
I mean, you should definitely. I mean, again, I'll give you if you look at a mule deer and you're like, that is the biggest whitetail deer I've ever seen, like, that's because it's a mule deer. But if you look at an elk and think that's the biggest deer you've ever seen, you're an idiot.
You're not wrong.
Just simple. All right, we're going to cut this a little short. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We got an episode with Dom Gatto.
Yeah.
For his podcast, Shows and Shelves, which you can check out there. We will not be cross-posting. We may clip a couple pieces.
But yeah, that's cool.
But yeah.
All right.
Good episode.
Until...
don't drink what we drank.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, y'all.
Later.
Hit that button.